You ready for this, Mary?
Yeah, I'm looking at the list. It's a very interesting Mihawk list with a very heavy supernova package. A lot of cards that you don't usually see in that Mihawk deck, which will be interesting.
That's for sure. It does have our old friendly neighborhood kid to protect from the more aggro side of things, but also it's running the load that people are not used to seeing in play anymore either. And Barto, which might be one of the most interesting tech choices for this deck in general, I think it's very, very powerful, and Mihawk feels like it was designed for this, even though the leader didn't exist at the time.
Even the choice of 2K with Basil Hawkins is interesting. Usually, when you see Supernova package, you're expecting the 6 cost Trafalgar Law, but we're actually not playing it. So, will be pretty
Rocking the
interesting.
3
We have Spiderweb for the mirror as well.
Oh, that is gonna be filthy. I don't know, I like this, and obviously he's running the full 4 low on Beppo package. That's something a bit more common these days, but also complemented by 3 of the Mihawks. So, yeah, it's gonna be very interesting to see the mid range and his choices on this deck. So we'll see how Rene fares with it, and we already missed a couple of turns, pretty much. Rene's just doing searching with Sanji and follows up with another searcher, this time around the Whole Cake Island Searcher that basically lets you find a Straw Hat card, such as the signature card of the deck, Beef Bursts. Okay.
Yeah, the Sanji deck getting a lot more support this last set.
Yeah, I think extra boosters have been super kind to it.
Yeah, we're on triple Red Rock and 1 Divine Departure, so it's a pretty anti-Mihawk list. Red Rock only really good against the Mihawk deck and the Crocodile.
Yeah, I guess it does do some work against Ace as well, even though it's kind of your best matchup anyways. But yeah, it does feel like it's a bit more geared towards the heavy top-end decks rather than the, I guess, Boas and Morias of the world, where you would definitely want some more Gravity Blade in there. Definitely more than 0. But I don't mind this approach. It feels like half the decks are just running Pudding and the other half are running Josu. And I do know that Rene is a fan of our 4-cost blue card. That's pretty much matchup defining, so we'll see. Second Prowder for Prowder. Struggling a bit to take his choice here. And we go for okay. Supernova package going for it. I do feel like the first couple of turns for these decks are gonna feel very one-sided from each one of the players just doing their own thing. Both decks have like an insane amount of searchers in them, so like the early game is pretty much all gonna be about setup.
Yeah, Sanji is definitely one of the most consistent decks out there. Not sure how good some of the cards are going to be against Mihawk. Cards like Culverine, like Booth Burst doesn't get to bottom deck anything. Yeah. Since Mihawk doesn't play a lot of cards with 4 less.
I mean, weirdly enough, it might shine a bit here if Prowder does play out the Bartos for value, because it's an easy card to get value out of by removing. It's always decent to remove one of the searchers if you can, to avoid like freedom shenanigans. But yeah, it's definitely not what you want Culverin for. Normally on this, it does feel like a bit of a waste of a card. But you can always use them for other purposes. You can always get rid of them with the Giants a bit late game if you have to. Or just move on with your life, I suppose, and pick something else. Developing Reiju. I'm not sure how much I like or dislike Reiju on the matchup either. It does feel like it does give you a free block the turn is played, and then you get a couple of 7 swings in before everything goes a bit sideways.
But it is a 7k, which does just get straight rested by the 7 cost Shanks, which is a bit of a problem.
Yeah, Shanks is base cost, isn't it?
Yeah. Yeah. Shanks rests is 7k power or less.
Oh, it's power based, yeah, not cost based. Ooh, yep. Yeah, that's just get immediately locked.
Freezing the Dawn. This Bonnie is really good in some matchups, but into Sanji, resting the Dawn like doesn't really matter.
No, it's not where you want to be. In fact, it's just a bit tricky, right? Because Mihawk does want to be able to reduce the Dawn for attack, so he couldn't even punish the free block with the bunny, which might have given a lot more value.
I mean, I kind of would have liked just swing the 5k with the Mihawk. If you take the free block, you can freeze the Reiju and then swing the other 5 with the other Perona.
Yeah, and I guess worst case scenario is not bad to have 3 down up. You always get to deviate a bit from aggression if you get swung like 7-7.
Yeah, I feel like
counter one.
This deck really doesn't care whether you swing a 5 or a 9, or sorry, a 5 or an 8 at them. There's not a lot of counter cards outside of events.
Yeah, that is very, very true. When you're swinging at Sanji, it's almost best to just go wide because there's barely any 1k counters they want to use as counter. And I think the standard right now is to run 7 2ks, which is not a lot at all. Pudding does help with that a bit, though. I found it to be a very, very important role player, but not specifically on this matchup. It's very unlikely that it will actually keep alive.
Yeah, the 2-cost Pudding is just such a great card for the deck. You never just die to a bunch of 5k swings anymore, hopefully.
Fingers crossed. But yeah. Okay, we are just on the 6th event now for Renee. I'm gonna get some unsize with beef. Okay, that's the throw in first blood on Prowder as well. And there's Pudding to give us a bit of protection against these smaller swings with 1 done for Conqueror if we need to. Okay,
typically, the Sanji deck does not struggle against the 8-cost kid in green. But this particular version doesn't actually play the in archetype Gamma Knife. We just have the single Divine Departure. So if Prowder can find a kid, it could just win the game.
I mean, if he has a way to... Oh, I mean, he's not running the Shigis, right? So you could just Red Rocket.
There's no Shigis in the list.
There is no Tashigis in the list, it's not Supernova. So I guess that kid might either be the best card in the matchup or the worst one, depending on the timing of it and whether Rene's already spent some
it's also
of
7 2Ks as well. 7 2Ks each.
Yeah. Yeah, both of them are kind of playing a dangerous game of chicken. It's very bricky on both situations if you do manage to get the Dawn away. But none of them have that many ways to do so, because Prowder's not even running DMG, which is shocking. But I guess you gotta make space for all outs. I don't know how to call that card, by the way. It has such a long name that I've never really landed on which one to use. I know you're strong, so I will go all out from the beginning. It's just a bit much.
I'm just gonna call it Luna with counter.
Yeah. Counter Luna. I like Counter Luna. Yeah. I was wondering which card was that. That's the PRB Altart for the 5-cost law.
Locker Law. Interesting inclusion.
Yeah, it does feel like that's pretty much just for value, right? Like the only thing you can really do with this is bounce a searcher, play a searcher, except for the case of Barto.
You can play the Barto, yeah.
Yeah.
Just a blocker.
And give you some value too, right? Because you will get to keep filtering, which you might need given, yeah, you are a bit short on...
It does actually make the deck a lot more consistent, which is, I think, the biggest struggle with Mihawk. The Supernova package trades off a lot of the power for the deck into the consistency.
Yep. Yeah, and Barto is the best way to find those non-searchable parts of the package, right? Like, because in the end you only have the 4 Peronas to search for slash, and most of your top end is kind of slash based. Obviously Low and Beppo are amazing, but you do kind of need either Shanks or Mihawk in some matchups. So yeah, no, I like it.
Well, the Shanks and Mihawk are also slash.
Yeah, that's what I mean. But you only get them with Perona, right? So like
Yeah.
most of your searchers are not gonna be able to find them, and both Law and Barto help fix that problem by either bouncing and replaying the Perona or just letting you filter through. So yeah, I do like deck building wise what that means. Okay, more teardropping from Rene's side into more card draw. It does feel like he's developing the Sanjis a bit late on this game. I'm not sure if you need to play them as early in the matchup, but it does feel like sometimes if you don't lay out your plan and get two of those Sanjis played kind of quick, it's very difficult to close up the games.
In this matchup specifically, if you play them early, like one at a time, they kind of just all get cleared by the Shanks. You know, they get rested and frozen or
On into.
yeah.
Yeah, you need them to be at least an 8k to kind of develop properly. Okay.
Yeah, it's not as detrimental as before to lose your Sanjis because now you do have a way to get them back in the Stealth Black event.
Yeah, that. I think that might have been the best addition to the deck, because I do like Teardrop a lot. Don't get me wrong, and I feel like the only reason the deck is real before Reiju is because Teardrop basically buffs your speed limit, right? And the
Yeah.
acceleration of the deck just goes insane. But the reusability of Stealth Black and how easy it is, and how you can sometimes drop a blocker for -1 down as well towards the end game, which is insane in matchups that cannot get rid of the 6-cost Sanji. It's just very, very good for your plan, regardless of if you want to go turbo, right? So that's gonna remain there once we get the 5-cost Regius into the deck, while the teardrops might be reduced into a couple copies, for example. And here's the namesake. We got Mihawk on Mihawk. Right in time to freeze one of those two Sanjis.
I have to say, this game is looking quite good for Rene. No Shanks on board is a very big plus.
He's gonna be able to keep pressuring, and having that done up lets you play around with your life easily. He's on 3 lives still. Probably spend most of the mid game just finding consistency, and the board is somewhat small still. But we'll see how that Mihawk comes into account. And obviously that pudding, as we said before, it's doing a lot of laps, basically letting Rene filter breaks into 2Ks, and that's kind of what you need when you're getting swung 5s and 6 often. Pick up the Barto now. Gonna be soon enough to actually leverage it, or are we a bit late for that now?
Do you have one copy of Covering and Trash already? So I can't imagine he wants to be searching that card. So if we want to remove the Barto for next turn, potentially have to waste like something like a Boost Burst, which is never ideal.
It's definitely not it, and it's just gonna delay the inevitable a bit as well when Barto's already net some value. So we'll see. Okay, teardrop once again. Oh, that is a complicated one. I don't think we're picking the 2K on this spot, but both the Giant and another copy of Sanji are very, very tempting. So it will kind of come down to how many Giants did we already have, or do we have another Stealth Black?
Yeah, letting the Sanji goes to trash, you can just play it back for using your leader effect. But having counter is way too important. I think at this point, if you do lose your Sanjis, it could spell trouble.
Yeah, and that's the direction we go on.
Yeah, and Red Rock coming down on that Mihawk is pretty backbreaking. It's exactly the card that's for this matchup. It's in the deck.
100%. And we... Ooh. Challenging board now. Very fair. There's still black for another Sanji. And now we get to go lead probably 6. Stuff in the free block. It is a bit tricky because I don't think you want to give them the free block and then swing 8 into it, leading to do not necessarily. So it might just be best to go 6. No. Okay, we'll take hand size. Is that rage you're gonna go at it?
Yeah, and suddenly after this one turn, the game is looking very, very good. If we do have a second red rock in hand, and I think that is just game.
Yeah. Yeah, if whatever Prowder plays this turn goes right to the bottom of the deck, it's looking very difficult to recover. And 3 life is kind of an annoying spot to be on for him as well. I guess a low Beppo would still do some stuff this turn.
The manga Mihawk.
That one definitely needs to go to the bottom of the deck. It's way too pretty to be there.
But it is a mismatched playset though, so we'll say nothing.
I mean, he does have still some time before regional to fully complete the set, right? We will give him a bit of time to figure that out. But for the time being, yeah, we do gotta note down that either you play all of them or none of them, right? This is a scary board. Prowder has 2 done up as well, and I know Rene doesn't have knowledge of his list, but resting those Sanjis is gonna be very scary, given that he can freeze them pretty much for 3 days once they go around.
Yeah, not a lot of lists are running around with 10 cost Flamingo in Mihawk. I've seen like 1 or 2.
Yeah, it does feel like a bit of an overlap, but I do like the Luna event in this board. It does feel like a discount of Flamingo that doesn't really fully break you either. And yeah. Cycling the Conqueror here. This deck is also looking very, very thin now. Is just a 2K. Like the Sanjis are 8 now, because if
Bunch of
effectively
eights.
means, yeah, the only 1 cost event that actually doesn't work at this spot is the Tricolosseum. Is that the name of it?
For which deck?
For Mihawk, right? Like, they are usually quite heavy on the 3K. Sorry, 3K counter events. So it is a very nice number. Sorry. Okay, I think I'm back and I didn't either, so I apologize. But yeah, what I meant is that swinging 8s when they just have one or 2 done up is usually kind of a sweet spot as well. This list is a bit more tricky.
Yeah,
and I guess just in general.
Reached a lot of Beppo turns, which we'll see. I think it could just be like this Mihawk deck usually plays a lot of bricks, but this Supernova build is a lot nicer. Not as many bricks as he usually plays.
Yeah, it is. It does have a lot more options, especially with the spider's web. I guess
Like
one
5
of the
cards in hand.
Mhm. One of the weird things, however, is the fact that Spiderweb kind of loses some value with low once you are on the low and Beppo turns, right? Because that low is effectively a champ blocker. It's less effective use low than it is to just tank the hit with a 1k.
Yeah, I mean it is only a 6k, right?
Yeah, yeah. It's a weird spot where your 6k blocker that should be giving you free counter value is the opposite of that. There we go. It just dies a terrible death immediately.
Like only 2 more cards in hand. 3 cards in hand for Prowder.
Does look like 3.
Third Red Rock.
I mean, if a deck is gonna find all the copies of its events, it's gonna be Sanji. But yeah, 3 without a lot of searching happening is definitely good stuff for the Sanji side. And Sanji number 4, or is it gonna be the blocker? Yeah, blocker Sanji. Good enough. I think I kind of like going to 7s better than going to 9 here, though. Like knowing how the counter dynamics of Mihawk work.
Yeah, you can go 7-7 with like rather than 9-5, I guess.
Yeah, just demand 2 cards for sure. Or him taking the last life, which with the current board state would be very terrifying.
3 cards in hand. Should be dead by math, right? You can just go 9-9-9 and then 9-9.
That's pretty much it. Oh, I just realized this Mihawk this is not running the stage either, right? So we do not get a 4th dawn on these loops.
I've seen more and more Mihawks actually cut the stage for the Bonnie and Kid Killer package.
It makes sense. In the end, it's just another consistency tool, but it's worse than actually searching for things. 3 cards in hand. No blockers. Okay. 11. 17. Game. Once more. Yeah, and that is about enough to close it. So we are going to game 2.
Yeah, I've seen Lisk start playing Divine Departure over the Red Rock because it, in theory, kind of does the same thing against Mihawk.
Yeah, it's just kind of a lot worse in 2As, I suppose. But it does make sense, and it's not a brick. Well, I mean, it is a partial brick, but it does help you when being swung a 7.
Teardrop finding the first Red Rock.
Mm-hmm.
I guess that is the card that makes or breaks. The cherry on top is that, you know, the Booth Burst did have to go to trash for it.
Oh, there we go. Teardrop number 2, and we can set up a Sanji on trash. So if he does have the stealth black already, he's already got the setup.
I feel like you always take the Booth Burst here.
Yeah. Especially after dropping one before, right? Like you cannot really afford to lose that much of your...
like the card advantage is just insane. And it can draw you into more Red Rocks, more Stealth Blacks.
100%. And we're already on count 1, so our Sanji's would be 6 is the second they come round, and Ryu's already active too, so it's kind of where he wants to be.
I actually don't hate like not swinging here against Sanji, especially going first. It's just if you swing here next turn, he goes to 4 Dawn. He can play the A3 cost event and Stealth Blackboard Boost Burst plus the Otama
Oh, true. That is.
for Psycho, because the Otama only really works when you're 3 life or lower.
And these are the turns where he's like making the consistency, so that does make quite a lot of sense. There we go, 6 to 8 cards in hand. Yeah, it feels unfair to do this when you have 7 in hand and just get to play Sanji's Pilaf for -1 ton that you immediately recover. Yeah, it's just filthy. But yeah, it's one of the fun things of that deck. Have you played it yourself or just like watched some games of Sanji?
I have someone at my locals that loves to play this deck, but I've always thought this deck wasn't great before the support, but I've yet to actually play against it in person with the new stuff.
Yeah, that's very fair. It does feel a bit, to me at least, like after really trying, it does feel a bit like it's missing some alternative game plans. And some of the matchups you just need to lay your Sanjis over there and say, I'm gonna kill you into turns, unless you stop me. And I don't know, it feels a bit off for me, but it's definitely strong, and teardrops are really, really.
Did that just go
putting
to
the
the
pedal
top
to the metal.
of the deck?
Mhm.
That card can bring to the top. Let's crash this wedding.
Which one, sorry?
The blue 1 cost event. Let's crash this wedding. I didn't know it could put on top.
Oh, I did. I played it and I didn't know that either. I'm just probably gonna double check. But that is very interesting, actually. Huh. Things you learn. Oh, no, it's at the bottom.
Wait, I swear that was just left on top.
Huh. We will check with our production person. That's the same person that did that. It might have been just a bit of choppiness on the stream. Did anyone on chat see? Okay, René will check. Oh no. Oh no. Prowder is on chat as well. Oh no. We might get cancelled for a different reason. I was not ready for this kind of cancellation. I'm sorry. Okay, let's.
I could be wrong. I went to the bottom, but it looked like it went to the top.
You might be right, but it cannot leave it on top. Legally speaking. Oh, we're taking another life here. I guess you cannot really save us 7k swing here. He's not on up. Okay. Jake just came to the rescue and stopped misinformation coming from someone that never does this information. It does look like it's just the stream chopping itself a bit.
This one will be taken to VAR. I will be checking afterwards.
Jake, we demand that you post the clip on the chat just in case, so anyone, including Mary, can check. All right, let's get back to the action a tiny bit. Getting into the wedding, let's pay very, very close attention to where the cards go this time around, and that's Red Rock found number 2.
Rock number 2. Not to mention if we just drew into one.
Yeah. So Prowder might want to go on the aggressive side here, given that the top end is gonna kind of die. We also know of at least one stealth black, right? So it's very likely that the Sanji army is gonna be growing exponentially.
Yeah. Also, when you don't play 6 cost law, like the red rocks just become so much more brutal. So your board cannot go as wide.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, it can go wide, but just with searchers and smaller bodies,
Yeah,
but
that's
it's
why
not
it's
enough
with
in the
bodies
center.
that you don't exactly care about.
Yeah. Given you're gonna be resting 9 to 10 down every turn to play something, even if you recover 3 of them, it's not gonna do the trick quite as well.
So we're gonna use the boost burst bounce effect rather than the draw to return the searcher Bonnie.
Huh. It might be just because we have too many guys in hand to do the draw.
Well, which it makes sense, right? Like Mihawk's going to 7, you're expecting the 7 cost shanks. You could usually restand the Dons to search for the Bonnie, but now you can't play it back out because of Mihawk's leader ability.
Yeah, that does change things a tiny bit. So it's gonna stop the card advantage and yeah, effectively help out a bit the carb situation, which yeah makes sense. There's not gonna be many opportunities to get value of that Bonnie, and he didn't get itself rested either. So basically, just went up and down. There we go, Shanks number 1. He's probably resting the pudding, which means there is a chance to swing at the Sanji if we want, but it's just not worth it on this spot. It's better to go for those 2 life if we really need to.
Yeah, removing the Sanjis is a lot less valuable now against this deck.
And it's also kind of unlikely, isn't it? We do still have the 2k effect of pudding, so yeah, that's why the
And like
pudding.
you know he has Gum Gum Giant in hand, so there's just no reason to swing at the Sanji.
Like either that or Conqueror is gonna be very cleanly there. I guess you could argue forcing the giant, but eh. Just
We've
do
not seen the
typically the
Conqueror searched, right? But we've seen this Giant search from turn 1.
I think considering just going a 7 at it, which I don't hate that much, right? Because the deck is very low on like pure counter cards, and you don't want to be wasting a giant on that swing at this point in
Yeah,
the game.
if it's
So,
me, I like 9 lead with the. If we're going to swing at all, it would be probably 9 lead.
Yeah.
But we want to protect the shanks with the blocker.
We don't get to see what he searches with this one, which is unfortunate. But we're probably gonna see the first red rock happening here, ideally combined with stealth black to pile the pressure on. Yeah, there we go. Yeah, Ren is saying himself that he was considering not using the red rock on the spot. I does feel like if that Shank sticks around, it's just gonna give too much value and be able to contest the Sanjis at this point because they're still only 7Ks, so not where you want them to be when facing that 9K monstrosity.
Yeah, I mean, the shanks is really, really good against Sanji. The like you're better off red rocking a Shanks than you are Law Beppo, in my opinion. But if you have like 2 more red rocks in your hand, right, like that should be enough to deal with the 9-cost Mihawks that are going to come down.
Yeah, and there is at least one, so for sure there are some resources to be used. I'm guessing that he was considering it a bit longer. It probably means he's only found one of the other two.
Well, we saw 2 searched.
Yeah.
I think.
Yeah, that's what I mean. So the third one might not have been found quite yet, although he's probably very close to going through the whole deck. So it might just be one of the 2 life or just towards the end.
Come down to 1 life. Very, very dangerous.
He's taking a bit of a break. Stand down turn for Renenene. So we do see the red rock into the Mihawk number 1. Now the question is whether we want to poke hand size by swinging at that low.
I mean, that's the 5th red rock that's been played this series. Let's see if we can go 6 for 6.
Very easily. Okay, Sanji number 2. And what's gonna be the event of choice this turn?
Stealth back would probably be ideal. But
Ooh,
it's Booth Burst to
case.
draw.
Is that the 4th one now? Yeah, I think so. I can see all 4 of them on trash, so we are out of them. No more plain and basic card advantage coming for on Sanji's way. Yeah, Red Rock has become kind of a pricey card nowadays.
Yeah, like all PRB01 events, it's just insane.
Yeah, they did go very, very crazy with the pricing, especially when it's always been a bit of role player for that, and only playable if the meta want the text. So it does feel horrible to pay for them.
Actually, interesting enough, this Law and Beppo's not going to give the boost to the leader, as we don't have 2 rested. So we're
That
still a
is very
5
funny.
leader.
That is very funny. Okay. 2K counter for that. And Giant. Yep.
Well,
There goes
first
the
giant,
Culverin.
first of many.
There goes the Culverin, and those Sanjis are now chunkier.
Up to 8k.
It's like swinging at that low, but low and Beppo is dangerous given we're on just 1 life. I'm thinking maybe Rene set up that 2K as the first Sanji blocker. Another stealth block could be a good avenue to kind of deal with that big swing. Okay, teardrops are falling.
You're searching.
And we are finding. So that means our Sanjis will be 9Ks, and we do get to recover 1 of either type from trash. How many giants do we have? Which also translates to which one of the two Sanjis will we revive. Okay.
If we
Good
have
stuff.
Red Rock here, we are going to be able to leave 3 Dawn up as well. So we're not even dead to Dead Man's Game, which we don't play, right? There's no DMG.
But there's no harm in playing around it. You know, it's very unexpected to think the green deck is not running the insane event card. So
I guess it's not searchable because it's not a supernova card.
that is true. Thankfully, it's not a supernova card. I think we would have been a lot more oppressed by the likes of Green Yellow Law if it actually was. 10, 2, Law? Okay, fair.
Ooh. We're restanding the law now.
There is free value.
What do you prefer? Do you prefer Spiderweb or Paradise Waterfall?
It is a difficult choice over here. I think I can understand why Mihawk might want to run Spiderweb instead. Because in the end, Paradise Waterfall does a lot of work, but as I mentioned before, right? Like if you get to the low and Beppo loops where you start being a 7k leader, Paradise Waterfall restanding your blocker is pretty much irrelevant because it's smaller than your leader. So I think it loses a bit of value
Well, you're not.
towards the end of the game.
The,
But it
the
is
Spiderweb and Paradise Waterfall, I personally don't play it to restand the blockers. It's in the mirror when your Raw and Beppo gets frozen, you can restand that.
Oh yeah. No, for mirror match, I think both of them are good, and one done is a lot more efficient than four. But I do feel like the fact that Paradise Waterfall is just a 2k, while the other one is a 4, can work against you sometimes and makes
We
it
did
really easy.
miss the. I think we just missed it, but Red Rock number 6.
Mm-hmm. Yep, there it was. We do find a low on Beppo, but it might be a bit too late given the current board. Maybe a Luna event is one of the stronger plays that Prowder could do at this point. He's running 4, and keeping those two Sanjis locked will depressurize him a bit.
If you lob Beppo and then play that event, it's a pretty game-winning play, honestly. I mean, Sanji's basically not swinging next turn.
Well, that's for sure, but he can't distant because he just played the Bonnie and searched, right? So maybe a consecration of chaining both of them. Okay, Shanks, not bad. Followed by Luna event.
Well, what's funny is we've seen 6 Red Rocks, but that's the first one at that event we've seen.
Yep, that is very true. We've not even seen it as counter the previous game. It's just he never drew into either. I guess they are not searchable, right? So, oh, there's
There's supernovas.
Yeah. No good windows to play them. Okay, what about now? 4 cards in hand. We know one of them is a low and Beppo.
We have no real ways to remove this law, right? Even like if we can punch this Shanks really hard with a Divine Departure.
Yeah, might not be enough. I think that Shanks kind of needs to stay there for this turn, which is very annoying.
Nope, it's going to be Divine Departure.
Yep. Okay, fair enough. Fair enough.
That's basically Red Rock number 7.
Precisely. That is, I mean, not scary, but it's interesting because there could be some weird consequences if he does have the. Oh, well, he doesn't run the Paradise Waterfall. Okay. One less thing to worry about. They can lead, which probably means no leader ability to play a 3 cost this turn. Oh yeah, just weird timing, I suppose.
Leaving 4 non up.
Yeah. That definitely was missequenced, right? Not tripping here.
Well, the 4 non it probably plays around double Dead Man's game. Because we only have like 4 cards in hand and 1 life.
Yeah, no, I don't mean the 4-down. I mean the using the stealth black after swinging with lead. Maybe we're playing around a trigger that could rest the Sanji.
Yeah, I mean, the only trigger that can rest at Sanji is Electric Luna, I think. Not a lot of cards can rest at 6 costs.
Yeah.
That really sees play anyway.
Yeah, that's what I mean. Oh, he forgot. Yeah, fair. That law has been standing for a really long time as well. I just feel like we didn't get a lot of value of it. Although it did condition the way Sanji had to swing every turn, so there is that.
Yeah, not swing with the law every turn is. I don't know. I feel like we should be swinging with it.
Even how quick Sanji went down to 1 life. I feel like the deck is not squishy, but it's like quite weak to getting constantly pressured with multiple swings, right? So yeah, I do feel like 2 extra swings with that law might have opened the window for a lethal a lot better.
Yeah, so Sanji just hates like random 6Ks and 5K swings. Especially with like that 2 cost putting on board.
Yeah, I love that putting 2 cost. It's genuinely changed the way you can play the deck and made you a bit greedier, I suppose, but that's a lot of work. Okay, second 10k swing coming through. And that is...
Do we maybe not have an event in hand that we can use? Because with one or more event, it would go up to a 10k without having Dawn Commitment. So our hand might just actually all be counter events and 2Ks.
Yeah. I think we're kind of running out of the business ones as well, right? Like there's 20 events on Trash and most of them are non-counter events, actually. So we see 1 Giant and 3 Conquestors. So maybe we're just running a bit out of gas from meaningful ones. Colombe Point to Luna event would be very terrifying at this point.
Yeah. We did have to search with Perona, which is never ideal.
I guess since everything is kind of rested already, Mihawk would do something similar, but will keep you very
Kid should
squishy.
actually be okay here. But no, it's just going to be a law blockering up. Oh, could we perhaps be searching for the 1 cost event?
Yeah, I think that's one of the only avenues we get out from here. We pick up the 2K Zoro.
We don't find the event.
No, Prowder's not happy with the search. He's very sad, and now I guess we do have the Barto filter, but will that be enough to find the event? annoying because those Sanjis are kind of on giant defense range from the low and Beppo as well.
Honestly, I don't hate not again. I don't hate not swinging this turn. You know he doesn't have a spell that he can use, and I think the only way you live, if any, is like if they're kept at 9Ks rather than 10Ks. Well, they're going to be just going like, it's 411s are going to be coming at you, right? If you swing, it's going to be trouble.
You can see that the giant just pushing things through might bring you to the 11k territory quickly.
Yeah, like I don't even hate over countering if you can get these
The number of
Sanjis, to like an 11K. But it really does depend what's in the hand.
we're taking the life. And it's a trigger. What do we have in the list that could be a trigger at this point? Culverin has a trigger. Wedding has a trigger, and that is Stealth Black trigger. Okay.
Elf Black, draw 2, trash 1.
Let's bring in the Sanjis to 10. Pretty much on its own. Get rid of a
Discard
pudding.
pudding.
That is a monstrosity of a board state. Finally finds that.
Well, you can
Timing
rest
is
your leader to use that
leader.
event.
Yeah, I think that's the avenue over here. Draw one, treasure one of Barto.
Trash Spiderweb.
That is Luna keeping 2 out of those 4 Sanjis frozen.
We're playing 4 copies at the event as well. We have to dig so deep for it, it's kind of mad.
It is very troublesome. Okay. Rennet doesn't have a Graph Blade, so at least that's not one of the variables on the equation. Did we get rid of the second covering, or is he holding one? He's definitely seen the whole deck by this point.
I don't even think we're gonna be dead if we don't kill this turn, as long as we leave some number of Dawn up, right? There's like, I think there's 2 giants in trash, and our deck is very thin.
Yeah, it's very likely that we do get to double giant and leaving that blocker up. Given that Asura is not a thing, it basically means that to rest that Sanji, you need either a Shanks or a Mihawk, right? Rest to inutilize the Sanji. Or a Beppo, so you're not gonna be able to go big at lethal if you rest it. Or like keep it unusable. There's no other way to deal with that. Okay. And it's gonna be King of the Pirates. I'm actually very jealous of his Don set. I've not been able to find those Dons yet. Even when I went to Japan in November, there were basically none of them around, which really annoyed me. Okay, there's Calvary number 2, and Barto goes away on a long vacation.
We're just sacking all the 1-offs. Or 2-offs.
Okay, 3 cards in hand. 1 Don up. Is this an 8k swing with leader?
I would prefer if we went the 9. Because
Okay.
we know, like, we've been struggling to find that one-cost event, right? So you'd rather play around something like the Billion Fold, which was searched earlier, off of a Perona, if we've not used it yet.
Not sure. Yeah, I guess you either just go a 9 or go for the under counter, just a simple 6 to guarantee a card off. Okay, 9. Yeah, there we go. And that effectively means you get to go 2 10s and an 11. You're going for lethal now? Or just 2 10s and leaving 5 on standing with the Sanji? Yeah, I like that. That's very alright. Node on app. That is 10.
Wonder where this 10 is going. Maybe low Beppo? But no, you
It's
can't.
an
Low
11,
Beppo's 11.
right?
Yeah, it's
Yeah.
11.
I wouldn't hate going 11 at low Beppo on this spot either, actually.
Yeah, because you can't kill this turn, so you might as well milk a card and make it easier next turn. But I guess like putting to 0 is the same thing. But if you swing 11 at the low bet pool, you can potentially get rid of the low blocker if our hand's just all bricks.
He's had is one card, right? So it would be one brick or no bricks. Now we're on 3, which is the life he took and the card he drew. Oh, yeah, I do feel like I like a bit better going at the low Beppo, but it doesn't let you play around double Asura, I suppose. Which would be very well. It wouldn't even be a thing really, unless the card in hand and the top card of the deck are Asuras, which we haven't seen one of in 2 very long games. So I think at that point I would probably just give one of those 2 down to Sanji, because you can play around just one Ashura by still having 2 on
sure.
up. 2 down on low Beppo for 13 and 8 on low for 14.
Oh yes, law is a 6k, not a 5k. You're right.
Yeah, then I really do like
Well,
the
in that case, the split,
or you
I
could go
would
Fed.
probably prefer like 7-13 then,
Okay, yeah, that's fair enough.
or 6-13. Yeah,
It's
gonna block and just
yeah.
all in.
Doesn't really make a huge difference, but yeah. Block the 11, and that's definitely not not baiting that you cannot survive the other 2.
Yeah, I feel like we definitely have enough counter.
Yeah, you definitely do. But it is a bit tricky with the number of cards in hand, right? But I still kind of like the 13 approach and then seeing where we land. I don't think there's an avenue where you survive this turn. So you might need to go for it anyways. 7 and everything else. Okay, force the over counter early on, that will be a Conqueror or a Giant. And then you still get to go 14. I'm surprised at this point that Rene hasn't run out of deck yet. It's feeling like we've been searching and doing this for ages. Okay, so that puts us at 2-9. Put down in 2 and thrashing at 2k. And that's all the way to 13 and 15. And that's game for Rene, just being an inhuman tank on this last swing. Yeah. He had one more giant, I see.